Okay. Yeah, we're gonna look at when we take a look at like populate, things like that. Yeah. So let's take a look at being able to update and unregister. Okay. So let's look at unregister. That seems to be the easier one. Right now, unregister sends a delete right to the service, but it's trying to remove it from an array, right? Instead, we want to remove it from a database. So it's coming back and saying that user doesn't exist in that array, right? So let's refactor that on the server. So on the server side, that request is coming through this delete over here, and that delete is currently iterating over the array, right? So let's refactor this so that instead of using the array, it's going to use the user model and then dot delete user, and it passes the user ID. And presumably this is going to come back with a promise that we can register a callback, and this is going to give back some status information, right? And the status information, we're just going to send it back to the client. Right? So we're going to say response dot send and then the status. So if we refresh, we restart that, and come back, and we're still logged in as Frank, but if I click on register, right, it successfully takes me back to home. Right, it comes back as a 200. We were able to delete, and it responds with an OK, and we are there. And hopefully we can't log in as Frank anymore. So we have Frank. Right, we can't log in as Frank. Right. So the next thing would be that I want to be able to update somebody. Right. So I have Andrew. Okay, and I want to change Andrew's information. So let's work on that. Right now, the update, right? If we inspect, and we see the the network traffic, currently, if I try to update, again, it's going to go and try and find that particular user ID in an array that doesn't contain this ID, right? So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to update this. We're going to refactor this update user function that instead of using this for loop, right, it's going to use the implementation for the updates in the data model. Right, so let's do that. Let's say user model dot update, and now the update takes two arguments: the user ID, which we're going to grab from the parameter, and the new data. So the user ID we're grabbing from the user ID right here, right? And we can parse that out and say from request.params the user ID, and then pass in the user object. Now this presumably is going to be an asynchronous call, and it's going to return some status information on whether it was able to update it or not. And we're going to send back that status to the client. Right? Send back the status. Right. So if we refresh and log in as Andrew again, now currently we have the following information for both of these. So Andrew is logged in right now, right, but only has a username and a password. It doesn't have first name and last name. So let's update that. So this could be Andrew Jackson, right, and update that. Notice that it went out, and now it comes back as successful. Yes, I was able to successfully update that. And if we do a find, we see that indeed we have first name and last name. Andrew Jackson has been updated. Okay? All right, let's see. Were we able to implement all of them? Let's see. We updated the delete. Right? The delete no longer needs the array. The update no longer needs the array. Right? The create user no longer uses the array. The find user by ID doesn't use the array. Find user by username doesn't use it. Right? So we can remove that. Find username. Find by username doesn't need it. Well, we have this leftover here, right? That if it's none of the above, we like to return all the users, right? And I believe we have that in the model. Do we have find all? Yes, we have find all, right? So we can replace this one as well. We can say user model dot find all users. So find all users, and then go back to the server. Here are the users, and we're going to respond JSON users. Right, that was the last one, and we can test that easily by just copying this. Right, and that's the API, and something went wrong. Oops. Find all user. Oh, did I misspell it? And I didn't fix it, right? Find all users. It's find all users, and then find all users here as well. Find all users, find all users. Try it again. There it is, the array of all the users, right? Okay, I think we've accomplished what we were set out to do, right? We replaced all the uses of the array. We no longer use the array. We can just remove this. Right? We're not using the array. We're always going to the database. Make sense? All right. So let's move on to creating a relationship between users and the websites that are related to those users.